Hi, I'm Marilyn San Clemente of Stamp with Marilyn, and welcome to my creative playground. Today I'm going to show you how to put together this really fun Z-fold pop-out card, which has these little squares that pop out, and it's just a regular Z-fold card. It folds up flat so you can put it in a regular envelope, and then it does pop up and pops out so you can have fun decorating it, as I've done here. And I use the Les Shops Designer Series paper and the new Les Shops stamp set that's in the new annual catalog for this card. So let me show you how I put this card together, and then you can decide how you want to decorate it. So I'm going to put this up here as a reference. Okay, and oops. Okay, I'm going to put this up here as a reference so that you can see that. And I'm going to bring my cutter in over here. I have a piece of white cardstock that I have cut to 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and we're just going to cut that at 9 1/2. So we're going to have a little piece left here. Oops, and my cutting blade keeps falling off. There we go. Okay. And now we're going to score this at 2 inches and 4 inches. Okay. And I can put the yarn back in on my cutter, and I'm just going to put this over here because we are going to score a few more pieces. Okay, so this is our card base. So it's 9 1/2 by 4 1/4, scored at 2 inches and 4 inches. So I'm going to fold this in, and as I mentioned before, it is a Z-fold card. So I'm just going to use my bone folder and fold that back like so. Okay, so this was a class that I did last night in my virtual stamp club night, and we had a great time doing this class. So, okay, so now what I'm going to do for this class, I'm using the Dainty Delights paper, which did retire. That was a celebration paper, but I love this stamp set and this designer paper. So I just thought it would be really fun to make this really cool garden card. So I'm going to put this piece on the back, and this is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. So just like a regular Z-fold card, you would put that on the back of your regular Z-fold card. And then you've got these two pieces, and so you would want some designer paper that is 1 3/4 by 4. Oops, and I didn't cut that one down quite enough. Okay, so let's cut that down to 4. Or just over 4. Or if you want to put a mat under this, then you would cut it just 1/8 of an inch smaller, and then cut the mat to 1 3/4 by 4. Okay, so I'm going to put that there, and then this one is that the right? Yep, that's correct. So that is 1 3/4 by 4. Okay, so now we're ready to build our pop-outs. So this is, again, what we're trying to do. Okay, so the first piece, we want a piece of our cardstock background, and that can be any color. I've used white in this case, and that is going to be cut to 3 1/4 by 5. So 3 1/4 by 5. Okay, I'm going to score that at 1 1/2. Push the cutting blade out of the way. 3 inches and 4 1/2 inches. Okay, and we're going to fold that piece. I've got my cutting blade, so I've got the 1 1/2, the 1 1/2, the 3 inches, and the 4 1/2. So I have a little tab on the back side, which is 1/2 inch. So I'm going to fold this like this. So what we want to do with these is we want to make a block in essence, but it won't have a full back. As you can see here, there's the tab that we're going to do on each one. And so the back is going to be partially open, and that's going to let the card fold down. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. And so I have folded the tab back. I'm going to fold this. And you do want to use a bone folder to get a good crease on this. And I'm going to do this. There we go. Okay. And then on each of these, so we're going to make 3 of these blocks, and they're going to be different sizes. As you see, they go down in height. So we're going to be making 3 of those. So we're going to make them all the same way. So this piece, I want to put a piece of designer paper on, and obviously I cut that too big, and I want my designer paper to be 1 1/4 by 3. And I think I cut it at, yeah, I did. I cut it at 3 1/2. Better to have too much because you can cut off, but you can't add back on. As my grandmother, the seamstress, used to say. Okay, and now I'm just going to add some seal to that, and we're going to put that in the center section. Okay, and we now have, I'm going to move that back a little bit. I don't want to confuse you. Okay, so we have our card base that has all our pieces, and we want that first block, this is the tallest block, we want that to come off, and it's going to go this way. So we're going to take this piece here, and we're going to cover that with seal, and then we're going to line that up, and you want to have it just under this score line. You don't want it over the score line because then it won't fold. You want it just under that score line. So actually the edge of the cardstock or the edge of the designer paper would work really well. So I'm going to take that piece, I'm going to add lots of seal to it so it holds tight. And you could use the Seal Plus if you've wanted to. I don't think that you need to use the Seal Plus. I've been using the seal and I haven't had any issues with that because this seal's pretty strong. So, okay, so I've now lined it up. Here's the fold, and I'm just below the fold, and I've pushed that down. Okay, so now it's going to fold over like this. So now I have this piece, and I have that little tab. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a strip of seal on my tab, and then I'm going to fold this over as if I were folding my card. And there is our first piece. Ta-da! Now we're just going to repeat that process, and each one of these will be a little bit smaller. So my second block is 2 1/2 by 4, and we're going to score that at 1 inch. Two 2.5 inches, and 3.5 inches. Okay, so we now have block 2, and what we're going to do with block 2 is we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to fold that and make a block. So again, I'm just going to use my bone folder and burnish those. There we go. And now this piece, which is 1 1/4 by 2 1/4, is going to go on that second square. Okay, so that is going to go like this. And again, we're going to bring our card back, and we're going to do the exact same thing that we did before. Okay, so the card's going to fold like this. So now we're going to line this up, and this is our tab, so we want that on the other side. Now we're going to line this up, and we're just going to put this here in the center, and we're going to just line it up with our card. So let's put some seal on this. Okay, and it helps if you put your fingers in between, and I want to line that up so it's centered on that piece. Okay, and we're just going to put it like that. And so now we're going to fold this back. I'm going to put a strip of seal on that tab. Fold it like this. Ugh. There we go. And I want to fold that flat. You want to make sure that it's flat so that your card will fold flat. Okay. And then the last piece that we're going to do, block 3, is 1.5 inches by 3 inches, and we need a 1 1/4 inch square of designer paper. And so block 3, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch is hard to do. There's not a lot to hold on to for 1/2 inch. At 2 inches. And 2.5 inches. There we go. Okay, and again, we're going to fold this in and make a block. And as you can see, this is our shortest block, okay? And you do have that gap there. And now I'm just going to put my square of designer paper on this. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is, again, do the same thing. I'm going to hold this. You can put your fingers in between. And I just want to put some tape on this tab, and now you're back to a narrow tab again, and we're going to line that up in the center of this piece, okay, and attach that. Okay, so I'm just going to line that up here. Oh, I hate covering up these beautiful flowers. Okay, so there we go. And now I'm going to fold that out, fold that back, okay? And I'm going to put a strip of seal on here. Okay, so we're going to fold this out, and we're going to push this down and fold the whole thing and push it. So as you can see, it does fold flat. So you can put it in an envelope, but it's really cool because it pops up. Now, what I will plan to do with this is to decorate this with a whole bunch of fun flowers and things and make a kind of a little garden. And that dainty design paper had this, but I think that that's actually, yeah, that's not going to work. I was going to use that as my focal point. Oh, actually, I could do that. If I go that way, I could, but it comes way out. So you kind of lose a lot of the detail there of that card. So I think that I'm just going to decorate with some other flowers and things. And this is what I did with the Les Shops set. So I put a storefront here. I decorated each of these little pieces. I put a door frame here, and then I put the bookstore on the end, on the little one. And then I just added my messages and some other little baubles in between. I have a couple of potted plants that I've added. I added a menu board, a couple of chairs, and some greens. So you just have fun decorating it. It's a lot of fun to do. And my original one is this, and I used the Countryside Inn designer paper, and I used the father that's fishing with his kids. I thought this would be great for Father's Day. And I just decorated, I put the Happy Father's Day, and I really didn't do a lot here. I could take some of the fish from the Let's Go Fishing set and put a couple of fish on there. That would work also. But this would be a great Father's Day card as well. So, okay. Thank you for stopping by and checking out my class, and have fun making these. And if you're not on my newsletter, are on my mailing list, go out to stampwithmarilyn.com and you can sign up for my mailing list. Take care.